Welcome. My name is Sue Jeffers, and we are back again to continue to educate and inform you about what's happening over at the Capitol in St. Paul. There's plenty of stuff happening on a national level, but we need to stay focused on the state of Minnesota. Joining me is my good friend Tim Uta, who is a candidate for the 2010 election. Welcome, Tim.
Good morning, Sue. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. And you?
Nice to see you again. I'm doing good.
Okay, you know, I say this every year. I paraphrase Mark Twain. The legislature's in session. Nobody is safe.
That's true, absolutely. And this is especially this year, nobody's safe. It's the second year of the biennium, and so all the bills that are being introduced is on a fast track to get passed and put in front of the governor's desk this year.
I think people will remember the last time we got together, they had pre-introduced 222 pieces of legislation before the session even started.
Correct,
and
yes.
It was 221 horrendous bills that we don't need. But you were there on the first day,
yes.
The opening session. Tell us what you thought.
Well, I went over to the House caucus where the bills were introduced, and I just asked them how many bills were introduced, and I said, like you said, I think it was 200 and some bills were introduced off session, but the Constitution doesn't allow for that. The session has to be in session in order to introduce bills, and the legislators bring it to this specific office on session, introduce their bills. So that was kind of and I asked what's going on. They said, well, back in the 70s, the legislatures wanted to speed up the process. So they started this, I would call it jury rigging, introducing bills prior to the session opening, and they actually give the bill a title and a number, and they send it off to different committees. Now, technically, none of this is going to be happening. From my understanding of the Constitution, I could be incorrect, but from my understanding of reading it, is that has to happen during session.
The Constitution, our legislators don't follow the Constitution many times.
Correct. We'll be discussing some of the ways that the Constitution is not followed today. But another thing that happened too is I want people to realize we're trying to finish up a biennium now. We're $1.3 billion in the hole in this biennium. The governor's been sued and lost in court. Now he's in front of the Supreme Court, and if that is overturned, the whole Constitution, as far as an allotment, is going to be tossed out, which is a constitutionally protected authority of the governor, which will put the whole last year's session of $5–6 billion in chaos and anarchy. Plus, in 2012 and 2013, we're looking at almost $8 billion in the hole. That all being said, I just want to review with everybody out there what happened on the first day of session. Along with the bills that were introduced during the summer and fall and winter, there was another group of bills that were introduced. So a total of 329 bills were introduced. So a couple of days ago, I sat down and went through each one of the bills and just looked at the heading and made a judgment call as to whether or not they increased spending or they decreased spending. And I just want to let everybody know, of the 329 bills, 99.1% of the bills introduced in the first day of session were unrelated to correcting the budget problems. 99.1%.
And
I actually found
I want to stop you right there, because we have heard all summer long, since the close of last legislative session, the state is broke, the #1 priority, jobs and the economy, we're going to fix it, and now 500 and some bills have been introduced.
329 bills. 329 bills, and 99.1% of the bills have nothing to do with correcting the budget problems. Of those bills, I found 3 that actually addressed the budget, cutting the budget. And actually, one was from Tom Riccovina, DFL of House District 5A up in northern Minnesota, which I was pretty impressed.
And gubernatorial candidate.
And his House Bill 2640, if anybody wants to take a look at it, actually made an attempt to reduce the cost of government by saying you only have to have 1 plate on your license, on your vehicle. You don't have to have a front license plate anymore. That was his bill. So I got to give him credit. He made an attempt. Of those bills that were introduced, though, 72% of those bills actually increase state government and spending. 72%. And this isn't a year when these guys say, oh, we understand that we need to do this and that and the other and try and balance the budget and blah, blah, blah. 72% of these 329 bills actually increase state spending. Now, a lot of them are distributing with bonding for bicycle trails and whatever else and pet projects in different House districts. But still, 72% of the bills are increasing the size and scope of government spending. So I just want to let everybody know that, what's going on. That was the first day of session. Last year was really hopeful. I went there, everybody was all excited, bipartisan, blah, 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 everything's going to go good. But this year there was the first day of session was like, there was this feel of just, this isn't going well. And it was the first day of session. So I haven't been down there since last week, so I got to go down there again and find out what's going on. But I've been following things on the internet. But that's what I noticed at the first day of session.
And we should point out to people it's very easy to track these bills on the internet, that the website for the state of Minnesota is a wealth of information. And we should also say your website is a wealth of information.
Website, yes.
What is your website?
TimUtsForHouse.com. Real easy to find. Type it in Google or any other search group and it pops up right away. I do want to tell people also, along with the state's website, you can go and register and customize bills, subjects that you're interested in, like for instance in the stadium bills or agriculture. You can type in these parameters, and if any bills are introduced or any actions taken in these different subjects, you'll get emails from the state telling you what's going on and different things like that. So the process is open.
And you make it easy. You send out updates.
Yes,
What's happening over at the Capitol, so you can sign
from
up on your website.
From my perspective, right.
I like
so it's
your
like people to come and check it out every few weeks, especially during session, to see what's going on. Of course, on our website, we update constantly our activities, our parties we go to, and do a lot of photography and put all that stuff on the website where we're going, basketball games and whatever else we got going on.
And your jacket can be seen everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, I heard.
Tell everyone about it. You were on the news.
I heard it was on the news for the first day of session. Somebody videotaped, and it was on, I don't know, CBS or one of the networks.
And what does the sleeve say?
On the sleeve it says, the Constitution is not a suggestion.
I love that.
And it's a jacket that has our symbol of the dual donkey and the elephant. People always, what's that about? And I just say, this isn't about the party politics anymore. This is about us as people, us as the constitutional citizens of this country, and that's what the issues are. And I'm a Republican, and I'm not embarrassed to say that, but being a Republican doesn't make you have all the answers. So. And
the reason people in your district should elect you is why? What are you going to do? What are you going to do for them?
I'm going to give them their constitutional liberties back and hold government within the rule of law. We'll start right there. Put the genie back in the bottle. We got two choices. Either we stop with the direction we're going and put the genie back in the bottle, or we can all just pack it in and forget that we have a country anymore, because that's the direction we're headed.
Every year, government grows and grows.
The federal government has gotten so far out of control that it's consuming, this last year, it consumed $1.6 trillion more than the economy could contribute to paying the bills. It's going to do that again this year. So right now the government is way outspending the ability of its people to properly function and pay for government. That's one issue, but along with that, those federal dollars or federal taxes are competing with the state, local, and county governments. The local, state, and county governments have to fight for the same dollars. I got $10 to pay taxes with. The federal takes $4, state takes $3, the county takes $2, and the city takes $1. I got $1 to live on, and that's what's happening. And besides the stagnant economy that we're having in the tough times, these taxes are being multiplied and increased. In 10 years out, we're going to see a huge increase in taxation and burden on the people.
So obviously, according to our legislators, the state of Minnesota is broke. Last year, the federal government came in and gave stimulus funding to the states to carry them through that difficult time
that we're still in.
That for some people has even been made worse by the policies we're seeing coming out of Washington, D.C. What are we going to do to fix the state of Minnesota? If you look at the state Senate, the second day of the session, they passed a $1.2 billion bonding bill.
I question whether they can have the authority to pass a $1.2 billion bonding bill, because in the Constitution it says all taxing and revenue generation has to come from the House. So if the Constitution says everything revenue generation and taxation-wise has to come from the House, why is the Senate introducing and passing a bill in its own chambers?